What's up, Legion, and welcome to I Still Call It a Lariat. Happy New Year. I hope everyone had a great holiday. This is our first show of the new year, and with me to go over the highs and lows of the wrestling week is my boy, Hound Dog. Hound, how you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. Happy New Year to you, sir. Happy New Year to your family and your loved ones. Legion, Happy New Year to all of you. It's an important year. Now, well, every year is, it can be like new year, new me, kind of, and then trick yourself into thinking you're going to work out for a week when you're not. But this is an important one. This is 25 years into the new millennium. So either it's the end of the first quarter or the start of the second, depending on how you're doing the math there.
How you see it.
But either way, I believe that's momentous. And my most fervent wish for all of you listening out there is that not just this year is amazing, that this year starts the progression where each year over year, is better than the last for all of you.
I'm down for that. Legion, I hope you have a prosperous year this year, as I hope we all have a prosperous year. Hound, it's funny you brought up the new year, new me thing, because I have a big theory on this one. And before we get into what we're supposed to talk about, I'd love to give this one out there, because it's my show and I do what I want. So, all these New Year's resolutions, they're always things that people don't want to do. Like, it's different for me and you. You and I like to go to the gym. We like to do certain things. And like, if I say for my New Year's resolution, I need to work out more, I need to get into better shape, I need to get back into the shape I was when I was wrestling, that's different. I enjoy going to the gym. I enjoy going to jiu-jitsu. I enjoy working out. Same thing, like my New Year's resolution almost every year is I would really like to start reading more because I enjoy reading.
Nerd.
What? You enjoy reading, you nerd? You're a jerk, too. You're a nerk. Yeah, I said it. But, like, if you make this New Year's resolution that, like, you're going to get in better shape, but you absolutely hate going to the gym, it's probably not going to happen.
You're touching on something, and this is, and before we delve into the world of professional wrestling, I believe you touched on something that is important and a lot of people don't hear. It's you can want till you're blue in the face, and you can want and want and want. No matter what you're going to do, there's going to be pain. It doesn't matter what it is. And you have to hit a point where the pain of change hurts less than the pain of staying the same. Now, Legion, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see I'm a bigger gentleman. I'm about 6'8". Right now, I'm weighing about 385. But Steve can attest to this. At my heaviest, I was 200 pounds heavier. And it took a long time. It took a lot of fighting with myself and wanting to do it, but hating the process and everything else. And eventually it just hit that point. You pass that point of no return where truthfully it hurt more to stay the same. So whatever it is you're battling out there, Legion, that you get to that point, just understand there's going to be pain. You just have to decide which hurts more, staying the same or doing the stuff that's going to get you to where you want to be.
Also, Legion, don't forget, if you've already started it, you're already going through it. You might as well just go up, try to get through the other side at that point, right? That's the easier way. Keep going forward. So Amen. With that has been our inspirational message for the week.
Pay attention, AEW.
And we're back. I was gonna say let's keep some positivity and talk about the nonprofit organizations that we support.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Before we put this thing into a nosedive, let's absolutely tell people like who and what they should support.
Yes, let's talk about Tap Cancer Out, as always, a series of jiu-jitsu tournaments that help out with Alex's Lemonade Stand, American Brain Tumor Association, Isabella Santos Foundation, Little Pink Houses of Hope, Camp Sunshine, Christopher's Haven, the Sidney Kimmel Comprehensive Cancer Center at Johns Hopkins, CureCervicalCancer.org, First Ascent, and of course, Tom Coughlin's J Fund.
The J Fund. It's a good one to start the year.
That's the first J Fund of the year for us. The other one, since obviously we are going to talk about AEW and their show from Asheville, North Carolina, you know what? I'm going to reiterate the importance of helping out with the varying hurricane relief funds, and whichever way you help out with, folks. If you help out monetarily, if you donate clothing to some of these people, if you just help out by volunteering time, all of it helps so much. A lot of these people are just still left destitute, and I don't know where the rest of the Legion is from, but it's even getting cold in Florida, so I can't imagine what it's like in Asheville, North Carolina, where it gets real cold.
Well, not only that, it is January 5th, the night we're recording this. We have, hello, Stoldy. We have a legitimate storm rolling through the East Coast right now. Originally, it looked like it was gonna smack me pretty good up here in Jersey, but I think I'm only gonna get dusted a little bit, maybe like 3 to 6 inches. But heading through the South, through Virginia, and even into the Carolinas, they're talking like a real blizzard right now. So, folks, yeah, if you've got any jackets laying around, anything that can be helped out, can be sent down there, you're not using them anyway. Get them to somebody who really could use them right now.
I was going to say it's even some of the flurries are supposed to hit Florida, which is weird. I haven't seen snow in like 7 years.
Which is one of the breakings of the seals, which clearly is the end times.
Yes. The next is locusts. Just raining blood. The last one let's talk about is, of course, Chris Bay's GoFundMe. We keep hearing positive things about how Chris is progressing and doing better. Folks, let's keep this up. This is another one of those ones where the wrestling community has very much come together and helped out someone that really needed it. And it's one of those situations where it makes me proud to be part of the wrestling community again. You know, we kind of put the fun in dysfunctional sometimes, but at the same time, we help out our brothers and our fraternity in this case. And that's the wrestling fans, the wrestling world, the wrestlers, the wrestling universe, to use the WWE phrase. Like, all of this is so encapsulated, and truthfully, no one else understands us except for us. And it's nice that we stepped up to help him out, and I think we should keep doing it. So, Chris, as always, we hope for the speediest of recoveries so that you can get back to doing all the things in the world that make you happy.
Yes, sir. Chris Bay, same thing I said earlier this year, to the Legion, same thing to you, man. I hope 2025 is just the start of every year for the rest of your life being better. You're going to come out the other side of this, man.
I believe that. So with that, Hound Dog, I heard a rumor we're supposed to talk about wrestling on this show, like actual wrestling.
Lies and slander.
Who am I slandering?
Me.
That's fair. That's actually probably that could be true.
I'm certain I deserve it. But no, let's chat, shall we?
That wrestling, about that pro wrestling.
I mean, it's either that or string theory. You pick.
I'm gonna go with wrestling, and I know a little bit more about it.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair. All right. First off, we have NXT, and this is their go-home show before New Year's Evil. It's also quite literally the last wrestling show of 2024. The show opened with Kalani Jordan versus Lola Vice. It kind of feels like they're trying to turn Kalani Jordan heel during this whole thing.
Yeah, I see what you're saying with that, and which it's not the worst thing in the world, because I mean, she's so new into her career where this is very much the time to throw a whole bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks and see what lingers the most. And, because Kehlani is a very pretty girl. She's extremely athletic. She's getting better every time we see her get in the ring. And she does have that, like, facey look about her I can't think of a better way to say it. And to have her so early on be like, oh, you thought I was sweet? And, basically that she's a Sour Patch Kid. I would love that.
I wouldn't mind that. So the match itself wasn't too bad. It just felt less than special when I was watching it. And it could just be, again, this could be a little bit of a palate cleanse. They're just trying to get some matches out along with their year-end awards for this. It it doesn't feel like anyone did anything wrong in the match. It just the wording I used while I'm writing this is both girls just feel unseasoned. Like it may be a lack of experience. I don't know. Like I said, the only thing that I knocked anybody on during it that I have written is if Kalani is going heel, this doesn't matter as much because she should be bumping more at this point. But if they are going to be keeping her face, I think she needs to work a little bit on her actual selling.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there. The match was what it was. I mean, it's the two women did fine. You can tell it's the two of them are still finding their footing, if you will. I want to say it was a cartwheel into a back like handspring elbow that Lola intercepted into a rear naked.
Yes.
That I thought they did a great job with that spot, and even the selling of that, the getting around the ring, the standing up, the crashing into the turnbuckle. I wish that she didn't crash into just the ropes at one point with her. I was like, everything was good, and then even the flat back bump to get out of all that. I thought she did a great job with that, and I thought Lola did her part well there. At the finish is a schmoz. It is what it is. I believe that they're going to push Cora Jade pretty hard this year coming up.
I think so too. I think her confidence might be back.
Yes, and I hope I get to have another proud dad moment or two about Cora because I really have been rooting for her. And I will say this: during the schmoz, when Stephanie Vaquer comes down and is being tougher than everybody, you've got Lola Vice was supposed to be, I guess, the heel in that match because even though she's not,
Yes, I don't know who the heel was in this match realistically.
Exactly. So then the whole spinning back fist, knocking down Stephanie, and then her being super concerned about it. I think they missed an opportunity there to have Lola kind of be like, huh, sucks to be you, and like walk off. That's the only thing there. I think that was the only miss in that part.
I agree, and like even the end, like you said, it's a schmoz. But the match kind of was what it was.
Yeah.
In general, I feel like the weekend wrestling there's a term that I heard JBL use recently, and I just feel like it describes overall the weekend wrestling, especially this weekend wrestling, or just a lot of the stuff we've been watching. There's a lot of motion without emotion. And I really like how he said that. Like he was talking about how like finishers don't have the same effect anymore, and like he's like, I always like the way Jake the Snake Roberts said it, and he goes, "What's the difference between your DDT and the one that we see every week?" He goes, "Well, mine ends the match." He goes, "That's really all the difference. That's all that it is if you protect a finisher, it's a finisher."
Yeah. This is the generational changeover, and we've mentioned it many times. The attention span of the folks in the generations below us, it's like a goldfish. So I mean, and now we've got the TikTok generation coming into pro wrestling and all that. So that's why you get all the spot monkey stuff and the work rate stuff, because people can't hold on to the fact that you and I could go in the ring and tell a story to a crowd and have 1 minute of that story be either you or me with a nerve hold on the other, and have it mean more than the fact that whoever the hell this is in this made up story right now did a double backflip and then happened to land 2 spinning ninja kicks, all while a Hurricane Rana happened while he landed into a Canadian destroyer.
I think Darby did that.
Darby's an idiot.
All right. So NXT was giving their year-end awards during this. Their first one was Match of the Year, and it went to a 3-way match amongst Obafemi, Josh Briggs, and Dijak. That sounds like a whole lot of large men just beating the crap out of each other.
I don't necessarily agree with that being the match of the year, but if you're going to do it, at least give Big E what he's always wanted. And I'm okay with that being
Man
the
meat
award winning.
slapping.
Yeah, just two big meaty men slapping meat.
The other one that we get right in this part of the show is Moment of the Year, and that was Joe Hendry debuting. I do think that was probably the moment of NXT's year, though. That is true. If nothing else, Joe Hendry is, at the time especially, was the hottest thing going in wrestling.
I think we're going to have a Joe Hendry resurgence coming up here in about a month.
Yeah. When he's number 30 at the Rumble, and the only person
by The Rock.
who's number 31. It's gonna happen.
Oh my gosh. You know, it would be fantastic, and not to get off on a tangent right now, if Joe Hendry eliminates John Cena from the Royal Rumble.
Oh my god, I hope so.
It would be so. Oh my gosh, there needs to be a Joe Hendry John Cena match.
I'm still a big believer, and I know that we would have to bank on the crowd asking for it. But I think that Joe Hendry shouldn't have a determined number. I think they should wait until the crowd starts chanting for Joe Hendry and then send him out.
You know what's crazy, dude? I got a feeling people have forgotten him.
He's slowed down a little bit, and unfortunately, I think it's just. I think TNA took their foot off the pedal a little bit with him, but I think it's also because he's not re-signing with them.
Yeah,
I truly believe
WWE
he's not gonna,
bound.
Yeah, I think he's got another couple months on his contract, and they're probably going to put the world title on him. But I don't think it's going to be a very lengthy title reign.
Well, I do hope he's there at the Royal Rumble, because that was incredible. And then he's just a goofball, and I love it.
He's a big, toothy Scottish Beetlejuice. You say his name, he shows up. He's got that big, toothy grin. Don't get me wrong, I love him. I love Joe Hendry. But there's times where it could be a little unnerving.
So good. I agree with that moment, though.
Yeah, let's talk about what was probably the best match of the night, and that was Ethan Page versus Cedric Alexander. There was no way this match was going to be bad. Both of these guys are amazing in the ring. And you know what? Ethan Page is amazing with his character work. I will say this. I think they could have let the Ethan Page being like down on himself. I think they could have let that cook a little bit longer.
Yeah, they could have. I mean, it wouldn't have hurt Ethan Page if Cedric had won this match because of that. But, I mean, look, you're right. The two of them were never going to have a bad match.
Oh.
I will say that running big boot, I thought he killed Cedric with.
Yeah.
I was he really connected, I think.
Same thing. I didn't know he threw such a pretty drop kick.
Yeah.
He throws a beautiful drop kick in this match. And Cedric Alexander might be one of the most underrated athletes in professional wrestling. So this match was great. I think if they weren't, I think if they weren't going to keep Ethan down on his luck, because now he's just being vicious and he's taking out guys like Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander. I think if they were going to do that, I think they should have gone with the idea that we went with originally, where Ethan Page won the North American title and he really didn't want it. I got this downgrade title, but he also refused to lose a match.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, because we'll see what they're going to do with it. I like the idea of it, and I think this whole more vicious side and being no, it was never my fault that I lost, an inability to take accountability. I think that will play well with his character. It plays well with any really great heel, the inability to be accountable, and his character work will work with that. So let's see. I'm excited for Mr. Page's 2025.
Let's see where he goes from here. So the next thing we're going to have, it's a 3-team women's tag team match. It's going to be Gigi Dolan. Oh, Jesus. I'm starting off the year great. And Shotzi versus Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson versus Katana Chance and Caden Carter. I thought the match was fun and the crowd was into it. Seemed like the pace was just a little off. Fatal Influence comes out, distracts the refs. It allows Jakar and Lash to get the win, which leads to Alba Fire and Isla Dawn coming on the screen and challenging the Meta Girls. I don't know. I feel like they're already taking the steam out of Gigi and Shotzi.
You see this a lot, unfortunately, and it does oftentimes, and you know this as well as I do. Cool. Anybody coming back, it is exciting. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. It's exciting for a moment. But if that excitement really, like, it's one thing if it should trail off after a couple weeks. But the excitement about Shotzi being back, like, it fell off a cliff immediately. So I understand it. And it happens far too often in wrestling. There, because again, it's the whole attention span thing. It's very much here today, gone today. And the rosters are so bloated everywhere right now. Like, if you're not wowing, I mean, it is what it is at this point, kind of thing.
I agree. I just figured we had a little bit more off of those two, especially with what they were doing with Fatal Influence. Like, and it feels very much like if it doesn't involve Fallon Henley, even the stuff with Fatal Influence is kind of falling by the wayside a little bit.
Well, and honestly, that's a good thing though, man, because ultimately you want the folks to separate themselves from the pack. And we're seeing, as this new year starts and as the generations change over and as the new crop of talent comes in, you're seeing who are the folks who have a shot to push to the front. And just because you separate yourself early on doesn't mean that you don't fall right back into the pack. I mean, think how many people came in like a house of fire and got forgotten. And then ultimately found themselves. Hell, look at the biggest superstar in wrestling, arguably right now. Cody goddamn Rhodes is exactly that.
You mean our Vice President Rhodes? Listen, I just heard this one too. This is my favorite thing I've ever heard. We don't need to turn Cody heel because he's been a heel the whole time. Yes.
Oh, I love the 4D chess Jar Jar Binks Sith Lord conspiracies about everything, and especially about wrestling.
Listen, KO's right. Kevin Owens is right.
Kevin Owens is a goddamn national treasure. Okay,
and yes, international treasure.
Well, okay, Legion. Sorry to go off on a tangent right now, but start your new year. Treat yourselves with this, and I've mentioned it before, but go look for the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn backstage moment where Sami Zayn's like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to say it. I think you're a rageaholic. And Kevin Owens takes a beat and then shouts, "Oh, what?" And it was, go find that stuff and enjoy it, because Kevin Owens is a treasure the way Comedy Okada is a treasure, at least to me.
And you love Comedy Okada.
I love Comedy Okada.
All right, let's get to the next year-end award for NXT. It was Tag Team of the Year. I mean, realistically, could it be anyone other than Fraxium?
The only way it would have been to further a storyline, and because ultimately the fracturing of Fraxium is coming. And if you were going to start the year doing that, fine. But
realistically, they've had the best tag team year. If we're just looking at NXT, they've had the best year of any tag team in NXT.
Yeah, 100%.
We get a match between Sol Ruka and Izzy Dame. I still really like Sol Ruka. I'm just wondering when or even if they're going to eventually pull the trigger on her. Like, it feels very much like they're doing a lot of stop and go with her, and it's I don't know if it's helping right now.
Yeah, it's so the thing that happened that when I was watching that match with Sol Ruka should not have lost that match. And because it did nothing for her. You just had her as one of the standouts in the Iron Survivor. If anything, she should have been rolling with that momentum. Now, it's one thing if she lost because you were setting up a program. But all this did was if the program you're setting up is that she's about to fight Overwatch Muscle Mommy because of a mistimed friggin' moonsault, you're not doing anything with her. And I've noticed, and maybe this is just me thinking too much about this, but in NXT in particular, it seems when a character change is coming, there is a change of color with garments. Soul, I've been seeing her in all black lately. Who knows? I mean, they may be trying something else with her because this whole, not caring surfer thing, it's not going to work. I mean, it's like as much as we all miss Bailey the Hugger, it wouldn't work anymore.
I agree. And I also disagree with this win or this loss for her because this win doesn't do anything for Izzy Dame either. Like, it doesn't help either one of them.
Yeah.
It doesn't build one way or another.
Yeah, like it would have been one thing had you determined right there that you were making Zarya go heel and she flatlined Soul. Or, the whole Zarya's out there for whatever reason and, they almost run, whoa, oh my gosh, are you okay? Into a roll up. The most devastating move in all of pro wrestling, the surprise roll up.
The small package. Actually, you know what? R-Truth has won more matches with a roll-up than almost anyone has with any other move ever.
It's the most devastating move in all of pro wrestling.
Let's see. The next segment involves our NXT female superstar of the year. And there should be no surprise here. It was obviously, Katana Chance. Oh, wait, yes. No, it was Roxanne Perez.
Darn it. You almost had me there. Now, I mean, honestly, who else could it be?
She literally ran the gauntlet this year. I don't know if she's not necessarily female of the year in wrestling.
She's up for debate with it. She really is. Now, I mean, you're going to have people out there who are a little bit more into this than even we are, who know some stuff overseas that we don't. Because, I mean, not trying to go off on tangents, but we are watching through the New Japan stuff that just happened over the last couple of days, and the Stardom Women's Champion, the year she's having too. Like, it's truthfully, it's those two around the country or around the world rather that you could say are having that. And if anybody says Mercedes Moné, no, you're grounded. I will hit you in the nose with a rolled up newspaper. You're bad.
That's what's going around. That's the rumor that Mercedes Four Belts or whatever they're calling her now is worth it.
She's good, but she's not as good as Roxanne Perez, and she's not as good as she'll never hear this. Maya Iwatani, I believe is her name from New Japan and Stardom, and she's not even as good as AZM, who she had the match with.
I agree with that. But both of them tore the house down. Yeah, Maya Iwatani. Okay. Mayu Iwatani.
Mayu. There we go. All right. Again, back to NXT.
So the next is a 6-man match. It's Hank and Tank and Andre Chase versus what I've referred to as TNT and Wes Lee. Again, fun match. Kind of was what it was. It was really just filler to get to the male superstar of the year segment, and that went to Obafemi. Hound, I'm not disagreeing with Obafemi.
I am.
But do you think it probably should have been Trick?
Trick won the world title 2 times in that year. Or if it wasn't in that year, he at least lost it and then regained the title within the same year. Within the same quarter of a year, he did that. Now, as much as I am not the biggest fan of Trick Williams, I see the talent, I see the ability. I believe that Oba winning that was just something to push the storyline forward. That's all it was. And I mean, well, truthfully though, I mean, if you were really going to go just on dominance, it would have been Oba. If you're going just based off dominance, because except for losing to Tony D'Angelo, Oba Femi basically Goldberged everybody.
I agree with that, but also the reason why I wouldn't have given it to Oba, aside from obviously not winning the big title, he wasn't there every week.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. Like, Trick has been over with the fans, and we've both said we're not on the Trick bandwagon. And I'm not as much anymore. He is still over with the fans. And he has been for the entirety of the year. And he comes out every week. And whether you like it or not, he is trying to get better. But he is there every week, and he's just as over every week.
Oh yeah, I will take nothing away from him. And that's the thing. Anybody out there who's listening to us, please don't take anything I've ever said about Trick as like he's terrible, because those are words that don't come out of my mouth. When you have the potential that he has, the fact that the dude is he's probably pretty damn close to my height. He's probably a good solid
6'4". 6'3" or 6'4".
So
I think he was a wide receiver in the NFL.
The only problem I have with him is that he was a Philadelphia Eagle. But I mean, and I will say this, he's getting a little bit better on the microphone, a little bit. But he should have gotten a lot of bit better by now. And that's really what it is and yes, he's over with the fans, but every chant has a cadence of 3 or is 3 words. Like if even with the new day rocks or new day sucks, whoop that trick, whoop that trick, and that's the pacing behind it. Anything like that will always have a feel of 3 or a count of 3, and it's an easy one. Plus the music itself, it makes you want to kind of want to move your shoulders, and then you got Booker T going, oh yeah, okay, all through it, being basically being his own version of Lil Jon through it.
Just being old man Booker T. Listen, Booker T can do whatever he wants at this point because
Legion.
He's actually proven that he will do whatever he wants.
Legion, do yourselves a favor and go and watch the Booker T and Stone Cold, where they got in a fight in a supermarket, and then Booker T hid in a confessional and took confession from people posing as a priest, hiding from Stone Cold. Go back and do yourselves a favor. It's one of the greatest things ever.
Listen, the best line in wrestling ever is, clean up aisle 7 on a jackass.
It's so good. I'm watching that tonight before I go to sleep.
That works. How do you think Trick walks out of New Year's Evil with the title? Or at least do you think he should?
I don't think he should. And so I will say this, because this is going to kind of talk about the little segment and the fact that Eddie Thorpe jumped everybody and yada, 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 and hit Oba Femi with that, I mean, honestly, where did they get these guys their awards for the year? Timu? Did you see that thing? It's pretty terrible. It's terrible. I made you a macaroni picture. Like, come on. Tell me I'm wrong, but
I can't because I saw them.
And there's your 5 o'clock moment.
There you go.
So I will say this, Oba, when he was out there talking, and he even got the crowd behind the cadence, here's my words, huh, here's my words, huh. You can tell the crowd is moving with him now. And he looked more confident and comfortable on the microphone in that moment than I had ever seen him. And the fact that he should be menacing finally translated, at least for me, where it's like, okay, this guy's a problem. And even when Trick's music hit, and, where they do the heel thing where you take the mic from your face, and you can see that they're, have the mic far enough away, they're cursing out the person coming out. And it was something along the lines of this son of a bitch or whatever he said. But things like that, I was like, okay, he's grabbing onto something here. And the thing, maybe it's believing your own character. Maybe it's believing your own hype to a point. Even Trick sounded a little bit better talking to Oba. The whole thing that it's, I got a nickname for you, Old Beatable Oba. Like, I was like, oh.
You're cute.
Oh. Here's a macaroni picture and consolation. Like
you deserve this macaroni picture now.
Yeah. It's oh my gosh. So and then you get Eddie Thorpe runs in, does whatever he does, and and shows everybody that the goddamn award came from Timu. Because I think it broke
falls
before
apart
even
before
hit
he ever hits him.
Yeah. But so this is why I don't. If they're gonna pull the trigger on Oba, I think it should go this way. Oba I think he's stepping into this monster role right now, and not since Karrion Kross have we had a true monster champion there. If you're gonna do that, Oba right now needs to win at New Year's Evil convincingly. Because Trick, literally to the point of a double pin, just had a 50-50 with Eddie Thorpe, who both of them he's only to their shoulders. And both of them, Oba's got 70 pounds on him and Trick's got 40 on Eddie Thorpe. And I understand we're supposed to suspend disbelief. I'm sorry, both Trick Williams and Oba Femi are beating up Eddie Thorpe pretty bad. In reality, like if Oba really hits him, if we're gonna if this is supposed to be what it actually is, he clubs him one time and he's gonna be like, yeah, I really don't want to be in this fight. So I don't think they should keep it on Trick. I think it's time for the title to change hands, and I think the idea of an actual monster as champion gives you the chance to build up your next whomever. Now, maybe Obo drops the ball a little bit with the title, everything else, but right now he looks like he's hitting stride. So I would take the title off Trick personally, and I would put it on Oba, and I would not have this be, I guess what would it be, a 33-33-33 for a triple threat? Truthfully, I would have Oba have about 50% and the other two split a quarter each.
Yeah, I agree with that. My other thing with this is not just the obvious size comparison, but Eddie Thorpe is the clear-cut cowardly heel in this match.
Yes.
So there's no reason why he should want to take on a guy like Oba, especially head on. I honestly think that match should almost end kind of the way Oba won the Iron Survivor. Like maybe he hits that double chokeslam and pins both of them. Like leave no doubt.
It's NXT, so if they're putting it on Oba, they're running it back with Trick at the next thing. So if they're doing that, I think Eddie Thorpe is the one who takes the thing. And I mean, truthfully, what they're going to do is, oh, here's the trick shot knee. And then Oba Femi clotheslines Trick and then choke slams Eddie Thorpe. And that's how it's going to end. But instead of, I like your idea, or even he double choke slams both and Trick kind of rolls away and he only pins Eddie. And the question is, could he have pinned both? Even that's a visual.
Both, yeah. I think that one works the best, but we will find out soon, within a week. So
let's see how 48 of those empirical units known as hours.
We will see. We will. So that was NXT this week. Again, that was their final show of 2024. Let's move on to the first AEW show of 2025. AEW Dynamite. Fight for the Fallen from Asheville, North Carolina. I do appreciate that a lot of the proceeds went to the town of Asheville with all the damage that has occurred there. Let's give AEW their flowers where they deserved it. And with that said, let's take those flowers right to the graveyard, because the very first match is Orange Cassidy versus Hangman Adam Page.
Oh, I'm glad you pushed past it, because I had I'm glad I didn't say what I was going to say about the flower. I'm going to say it. The best fertilizer on the planet is shit. And Lord knows AEW has been putting out shit for a long time, so hopefully any good that they're doing will grow well. But yes, Orange Cassidy, Adam Page. It was exactly Orange Cassidy versus Adam Page.
And what did this match do? It set up Hangman Adam Page versus the Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels. Now, real quick before we go into that, I would like to say that there might not be a bigger fan of Christopher Daniels on this planet than me.
Very true.
Christopher Daniels is possibly, he should be in the conversation of greatest wrestlers to never hold a real world title. And I'm a big believer of it. Like, he held the Ring of Honor title, but like, I mean, like, he never held the TNA World Heavyweight title. He's never going to probably hold the AEW World Heavyweight title. He's never held the IWGP or the NWA title. And obviously, he's never really been to the WWE, so he can't have held that title. But if we're creating a list, if you say he's not in the top 5, it's because he's in the top 6 of guys that are so damn good and just never held the world title.
I would agree with that statement to a point. I mean, in you saying that right there, I mean, it really is the biggest, you go sit in the corner ever to Ring of Honor. Like, no, not you.
Not you. Sorry, guys.
And Ring of Honor, there's the list of their world champions is a who's who, and Daniels is on it. But yes,
and he should be.
As he should be. I mean, and it's hell. Oh my gosh, it's incredible. But yes, so great. Now Adam Page is going to murder Christopher Daniels,
or we're going to get Christopher Daniels at damn near 60. Beating Hangman Page, who should be in the running for the world title.
What you're going to get is you're going to get Christopher Daniels having a Ricky Steamboat moment, but he's not winning this match.
He should not, and he shouldn't.
Yes, he should not.
I'm hoping the match is better than what I'm picturing it be.
I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I'm telling you, he's going to have a Steamboat moment.
Let's hope. All right, let's move on from that. The next thing we get is the Acclaimed versus the Hurt Syndicate. And Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin beat the dog. They dog walked these guys, and they should have.
Yes.
Here is where I'm disappointed with the end of the match. Not because the Hurt Syndicate won. There's no world where they should not have beaten these two guys at the level that they're at right now. I think the beatdown that they gave should have been on Bowens, though, with Caster walking away. Bowens just walking away during it when he's so clearly going to be the babyface leaving this whole team makes him seem like he still should have stood and fought. Because even if he's not friends with him anymore or the team is dissolving, he's still the babyface that should be there to stand and fight the odds.
I see what you're saying, and I will pose this to you this way. Why? Because here, we no longer live in the time of, outside of Cody Rhodes, there is not a true defined heel or face anywhere. Everybody is some level of tween.
I would like you to use his proper government term. Thank you. That's Vice President Rhodes.
But it's either way. I'm sorry. There is one that is actually 3 that are clearly defined too, and that's Dominic Mysterio and the New Day, because the nuclear heel heat they have, yes, but that's the only defined folks anywhere. And I mean, you can try telling me that corporate Okada is a heel. He's not. He is the greatest of all time. And but anyway, it doesn't matter which one of the two of them walks away. I think Bowens is a better fit to join the Hurt Syndicate. I think it would do more for him. I think he has the bigger upside on the singles end of things.
I agree. I think Bowens is a diamond in the rough, honestly.
Yeah, he's very, very Aladdin-y.
Is he wear baggy pants?
Jesus
Christ. How did we get here?
You said diamond in the rough. I immediately went back to Cave of Wonders right then and there. And then any reason to sing the Robin Williams, Prince Ali, yes, it is. Give me a reason. I sing it at least once a day.
I mean, you do have a daughter.
She hates it. I'd be singing it even if I didn't have her.
That's fair. All right. Speaking of someone's daughters, the next match they brought in was Julia Hart versus Jamie Hayter. This is furthering this feud, and they had Julia Hart go over on this. I agree with this.
Mm-hmm.
I think Julia Hart has a huge future. Just in the way that she does character work. The funny thing is I don't know if her future is necessarily as an in-ring worker, but as far as a character and a manager, she's golden.
She's stepping into something special.
She is. She's got all the work necessary. And again, she's young too. She's 24 or something like that, or 23. She's super, super young. Julia Hart could be getting all this character work in now, and in 2 or 3 years, she could get all the in-ring stuff in, and all of a sudden, she's got this complete package. I've been saying for weeks that Liv Morgan has found it.
Yeah.
Julia Hart found it 2 years ago. She just needs to keep working on it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with the way you're phrasing that, and I'm excited to see what they do with Miss Hart.
A match that I should have been more excited for than I was. Roderick Strong versus Switchblade Jay White versus Swerve Strickland. It was good. The match itself was good. And then we got heel Ricochet. And I understand that that's what we've been going to. But this whole idea that Ricochet just turned heel, he's been a heel for a month.
He didn't know he was a heel. Is the problem. Yeah, it's never again. But
he's going to do it every week now.
Oh God! But that's the thing is it was one of those where I believe Ricochet's character right now believed that the fans loved him and believed that he was the good guy, and now he's seen that no, these people actually don't like me. Well, how could they not like me? I'm better than everybody. And that's where they're starting with this. So I'm interested because it is something different for Ricochet. And the thing is, he should have been a heel all along. The dude is one of the best athletes on the planet. Any guy out there right now who says they wouldn't kill to look like Ricochet, you're a damn liar.
I wouldn't kill to look like Ricochet.
You're a damn liar. Every bit of you is lying.
I just want my hair with it.
Yeah, that's true. But and then on top of it,
I don't have the head for baldness.
Never mind. It's New Year. No insulting my friends. I love you.
Give that 5 minutes.
This is true. And on top of it, he's either engaged to or married to Samantha Irvin. Yes, he should be a heel. Yes, everybody should hate him. And even the whole way he talks on the microphone and everything else, he doesn't have to change much to still be a heel because you should have loved me. I'm excited. You should just hire us, Tony.
Email's down here, buddy. Email's right down here.
You should just hire us. I have to work remotely though. I do have a kid. And in June I have to fly to the other side of the planet, so I need that time off.
It's fine. I'll cover things while you're gone. Still can't be any worse than what's going on. I'm gonna ask you this, Hound. Ricochet stabbing Swerve in the head with scissors. I'd ask if we've gone a little bit too far, but isn't that just the MO for AEW at this point?
Well, at this point, that is, that's an opening segment for them. Good Lord. Swerve is a lunatic who agrees to things he shouldn't. Because if you came to me and said, I have this idea and I'm going to stab you in the forehead with scissors, I'd be like, you're really not going to do that. we're going to do a different thing than that. And
anything else.
Yeah, no, there's other things that you're also not stabbing me in the chest with scissors. You're not stabbing me with anything.
Yeah, like you're not putting a syringe and roofing me.
Swerve is out of his damn mind. And you know what? Maybe Adam Page was right all along with him.
Maybe. Like, Nana.
Good Lord. But it's okay, fine. Let's see what they're going to do with Ricochet. He has needed a character refresh for a long time.
For years.
He really has. I mean, he could have gone to AEW as Prince Puma and not had to have done anything, and it would have been a character refresh for him.
I would have enjoyed it, actually.
Yeah.
I would have actually really enjoyed that. So we get a segment where good old Double J, Jeff Jarrett, has been teasing retiring. So Hound, I'm going to pose it to you this way. If in 2005 I told you that Jeff Jarrett was going to be pretty much a beloved babyface, and people were going to be like sad that he might be hanging up the boots, no one would have believed me.
That was never on my bingo card.
No, never ever. And like, I kind of appreciate that he's getting some respect, because there was a little while where Jeff Jarrett was getting go away heat.
Dude, I'll never forget when Vince bought WCW, and that night where they did the final Nitro before Shane came out, and Vince was teasing, shutting it all down. He's like, and then just some folks are going to be double G, double O, double N, double E, gone. Like, he did and it was just because it was a massive FU to Jarrett, because Jarrett just walked away. Didn't he walk out with the Intercontinental title?
No, he lost the IC title. I think he left right after the Owen stuff.
I thought he left. Wait, was it him who dropped the IC title to China?
Yes.
I think he left right after he dropped the title to China.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy he's getting his respect. I feel like there's a lot of guys right now that are on their last run, their last ride, if you will. You got Jeff Jarrett, you got Tanahashi, you got obviously that guy that does all those movies and stuff.
Nobody's ever seen him.
No one has ever seen him.
I mean, it's truthfully, he should just wear camouflage shorts too whenever he's in the ring. Then you have to try to find wristbands and sneakers and keep up with that.
Just that. But I mean, even Dustin Rhodes, he's kind of on the last run of his thing. We got a lot of guys that are. We got a lot of guys that are leaving that we kind of grew up with, or even if we were grown, like, really had influence on us. And I mean, I know we keep talking about the change in generation, but that's a real sign of a change in generation.
I mean, it could also be the fact that our ages begin with 4.
This is just glare. This isn't gray in my beard.
Why do you think I trimmed it all? It has nothing to do with the fact that my girl was like, trim your beard. And I was like, okay. Has nothing to do with that. It had everything to do.
Nothing.
Not at all was I yelled at by somebody who's only 5'3" and I listened.
I don't listen. You've seen my wife. Let's see.
Your wife is a wonderful lady.
She's a wonderful, wonderful human being. I tricked her.
You did.
With that said, let's get to the main event for Dynamite. We get Rated FTR versus the Death Riders. So let me start off by saying the Death Riders that went into this match were consisting of Claudio, Wheeler, and no, not the third member of the Trios Champions, but Jon Moxley, because that makes sense. And now that we're on participants in this match, we get FTR, which is FTR, obviously. You know, you got Cash and Dax. And their tag team partner, the Rated R superstar, Cope.
So, look, okay. Edge is older than us. He doesn't understand. We don't understand what cool is. He understands what cool is even less. And he is just doing what he changed his name to what everybody in the locker room in AEW and any diehard fan has been doing for a while, and just coping with the fact that this keeps getting worse and worse.
So his reasoning behind this, and I'm going to debunk his reasoning once I say it, but his reasoning behind this, he went on an interview and said, well, the Rated R superstar, Adam Copeland, was just too big of a mouthful, so I keep calling myself Cope anyway. I might, it's the Cope Open and stuff like that. I might as well just be Cope. All right, so here's the thing. My debunking of this is also going to be my agreement of him. So yes, he is right. It is a mouthful. Adam Copeland is a goddamn legend. He's not even a bona fide first ballot. He's already in the Hall of Fame.
This is true.
He's what, a 11, 12-time world champion?
Something like that, yeah.
He's the only guy to have an undefeated streak that rivaled Undertaker's at WrestleMania at one point. And you want to know who he lost his undefeated streak to? Undertaker. He can call himself whatever the hell he wants. So in the sense of, yeah, if you think it's a mouthful and you want to call yourself Cope, yeah, okay, cool, I get it. But also, I don't care how much of a mouthful it is. You're Adam Copeland. You're a Hall of Famer. If you want to be called the Rated R superstar, Adam Copeland, you can call yourself that. It's not that much more of a mouthful than Stone Cold Steve Austin, quite frankly.
I agree with you, man. He's put in the time. He can call himself, Bill from accounting at this point for all I care. It's you call yourself whatever the hell you want.
I want you to be Adam Copeland,
though. He's still Adam Copeland.
Yeah, I want all of us to call him that. I don't want that to be the graphic on the screen is Cope.
Okay, well, the only upside to all of that is you've probably got less than a year of time of seeing it like that. Although I do think that after his in-ring stuff is done, I think he's going to hang around there and try to help the younger generation.
Yeah, cool. This is the guy who jumped off the top of a cage at 50-something.
I agree with FTR when they said, because they actually addressed idiots like us who were talking about it, and it's like, he goes, that's Adam effing Copeland. If he wants to jump off a cage, we're going to let him. It's okay. He knows the risks. I mean, at the same point, we let Darby leap off of buildings.
It's because we're hopeful of the outcome.
No, I don't want Darby to actually get hurt. I don't want Darby to actually get hurt.
I don't want Darby to get hurt.
I just want him to go away.
Yeah, I want him to stop hurting the business.
I want AEW to go away. And I don't really mean that.
It's not going to happen anytime soon anyway. So my big gripe with this match is that Moxley was involved in it. Realistically.
Yeah.
And I'd be before I catch any flack of this, it's not because I don't like Jon Moxley. I don't like Jon Moxley. But if he's the big bad at the end of this and he's the mastermind and he's the Lex Luthor, shouldn't Cope? Yeah, it hurts to even say it. But shouldn't Edge, there we go. That's how I'm going to fix this. Shouldn't Edge have to fight his way to get to him?
You know, the crazy thing is about him calling himself Cope, all along we all thought we knew him.
Jesus Christ. Boom, 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 boom.
I was waiting for you to stop. I was like, oh, don't trip over your words. This one's actually funny. Listen, there's a reason why I will not call them the Death Riders. And
what are we calling them this week?
Well, I want to give credit where credit is due, and that is to a much larger YouTube channel who only refers to them as the Dick Riders. And I love it. And he's like, the Dick Riders are ruining AEW. Thank you, Wrestle Talk, by the way. Yeah, I mean, it's
little plug for a show that's not ours.
Well, listen, man. You know, nobody has an original thought anymore. Somewhere, somebody has thought these set of words before us. But the what's it called? The World Organization of just please lose the goddamn title and go away. No one likes you. You look like he looks like Snitsky at this point.
Looks bad.
I hate to say this, dude. Is he using again?
I think he's juicing, honestly.
I mean, he is getting kind of shredded, and he is kind of like
he's actually in the best. He's actually in the best shape. Best. He's the biggest I've seen him in a while.
And he's even done like Cro-Magnon, where he's like his head's like stuck forward like this. I think Moxley might be closer to the end than we realized with his career too, because he's having a hard time moving.
Yeah, well, maybe then he shouldn't bleed in every single effing match.
I don't think he intended to bleed in that pay-per-view. I think that just kind of happened.
I think it just kind of happened too, but I also think that is a symptom of the illness of what his matches are. When every single one of your matches ends up on the outside for anywhere from 5 to 25 minutes, that's what's going to happen, man.
Yeah. Well, let's just hope that we're closer to the end than the beginning of the Moxley title reign.
Do we think that Copeland's going to take the title off of him? Because I don't think that's going to happen, man.
Well, no, Copeland has no chance, but Cope might.
I was waiting for it. I knew it. Here's the question: Does the rated R superstar take it off of him? And afterwards, does Christian cash in and we get more Christian versus Edge? Copeland. Cope. Copy.
I really hope so. I mean, I think that their final run is not complete if they don't do one last tag team hurrah together.
I kind of feel like that. I feel like I'm going to throw this out. We just did a little bit of fantasy booking, but I'm going to throw this idea out there. What if after all of this, Christian goes to cash in? Not on Copeland, on whoever is the champion at the time, and doesn't win the title. And the patriarchy basically just jumps him because of it. Like, you're a bad dad. You can't even be enough of a role model to win the title. And then Copeland comes out. I'm going to call him Copeland because that's his goddamn name. But then Copeland comes out and saves them, and we get a resurgence of Edge and Christian.
Okay. I mean, however we got there, sure. But if we did all of that and then Christian hugged him and hit him with another "go F yourself" again, and did that, he would be another where now there's no question about it. He joins that short list of 4 and it becomes 5 where, yes, he is only a heel.
He's only a heel.
And even though that
Yeah.
wouldn't happen, that would be one hell of a moment where you're like, really? Like, the whole crowd would be like, really? Really, guy? They wouldn't even boo him. They'd just be like, I'm just disappointed in you, sir.
Wait, I got it. Rated FTR comes out to save him. And Edge and Christian both tell them to go fuck themselves.
Or they jump FTR.
Yeah. Like they both low blow him and then walk off.
That's a great idea too. I like that.
Because then we could get Edge and Christian versus FTR, and I'm all for that.
And you know that FTR and Edge would be all for that because the three of them are legitimate real life besties.
Yeah. Yeah, they all hang out at Edge's cabin in up in the mountains of North Carolina.
Yeah, and they do FTR-y things.
I don't even know what that means.
I imagine it's drinking beers and talking about their families and probably chewing a bunch of tobacco.
Probably. So I'm gonna say this. I've heard other people say this, and I agree with it. Dax Harwood might be might be up there on this very short list of best wrestlers in the world. He's so damn good. Both members of FTR are so damn good, but you can tell Cash is very, very comfortable being in just a tag team, and Dax is very comfortable doing what the hell ever. And his stuff is so good, man. It's so good.
I respect the fact that we'll probably never see, I hope we never see FTR split. Like, that's a tag team that I pray, please don't split. And I apologize for putting that in the universe. But I like the idea that they're a tag team that never hold a singles title. I mean, hell, as much as you're not a fan of them, as much as you're not a fan of them really right now, I love that the Young Bucks have done that. They're not going to turn on each other.
I agree. I'll say this because I always compare them to this group, obviously. FTR, Dax is the Arn Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
And Cash is the Tully.
I mean, yeah, and they kind of look like them, too.
They kind of look like them, and if you look, Dax is a little bit more the harder hitting, the more the enforcer guy, where Cash is a little bit smoother technician guy. Like he'd be the one that would hit the slingshot suplex.
Yeah.
End of this. I mean, that's kind of, this match just became a schmoz as we expected, and that's the end of Dynamite. Woo!
Okay. I'm gonna try to be nice. Dynamite wasn't terrible.
Dynamite wasn't terrible. It was overall enjoyable. They have some heartfelt moments with the Jeff Jarrett thing. I think they tried really hard. I think they might have let Edge and FTR really, really have a little bit of control on this because of it being for their hometown.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So it wasn't bad. So we're only going to cover two things from Collision because this was a very late Collision because most of their star power was over in Japan for Wrestle Dynasty. So I'm going to flip-flop it the way I have it written. So the first thing that we're going to cover is we get the learning tree versus rated FT Cope. Cope FTR, if you will. And this is really where I cemented Dax as being as good as he is. Because there's a good solid 5 to 7 minutes where he doesn't do anything but work with Jericho. And damn, is it good. And I haven't said that about Jericho in much other than what his Mark Briscoe stuff was.
Jericho right now, Jericho's one of the greatest to ever do it. Jericho is also old. And Jericho needs a dance partner who can bring that out of him. And he's not going to get that with the younger generation, because it's not that they're not good enough to do it. I'm sure him and Will Ospreay put on a good match. But that's because Will Ospreay will create at least 6 or 7 superhuman moments where you just, that's what you remember above everything else. But think about what you just said. Dax and Mark Briscoe. They're a little bit older themselves, in terms of wrestling at least. And they're the style that Jericho needs. They're not going to try to run circles around him and everything else. They're going to actually use in-ring psychology, and they're going to do that. And ultimately, even if every move doesn't look exactly perfect and all this other stuff, if you nail the rest holds, if you nail when you duck your head out and be like, no, ref, like that, and you get the ref to step in between, you nail all of the little things like that, you can have 2 guys put on a better show than half of this indie nonsense. While it's fun to watch, you're like, but why am I watching it?
As I said before, motion without emotion.
Yeah.
There is a spot during this match that was key to what my opinion is of this. And it was Dax nailing Brian Keith with the sharpshooter. And Jericho puts, I believe it was Cash, into the walls. And while they've got their partners in their submission moves, they're going face to face and like butting heads with it. Like, my guy's gonna tap first. Funny thing is they were both the legal men, so even if the other guy tapped, it didn't matter. But it was still, I'm not gonna lie.
It's AEW. It didn't matter.
Listen, I down AEW as much as anybody. This match was cool.
Yeah.
And it made Big Bill look like a monster. It did all the things it was supposed to do. So I wanted to talk about the thing that I enjoyed first. This was good. This golf clap, golf clap, golf clap. Learning Tree versus Rated FTR. Big surprise, because if you combine all of them, there's like 750 years worth of experience there. But it was a great match. I really, really enjoyed it. Now then, because we have to talk about this match because it was a tag team title match. Private Party versus Action Andretti and Lio Rush. This is the epitome of motion without emotion. Again, a lot of this was indie stuff. They got Top Flight involved with a lot of this. I think this is my issue. And it's because I want this surgence of tag team wrestling to really come about. But I don't see a world, even if we really, really tried to push either any 3 of these teams, any version, either Private Party or Andretti and Rush or Top Flight. I don't see any one of those teams being main event. I think Private Party has the best chance to be main event, but I also think that they almost need to get out of their own way and maybe even abandon a little bit of the party gimmick. I think maybe it sounds dumb, but a possible gear change might really help them in my eyes, because when they come out, their gear, as much as it's professionally made, and I'm not saying it's not nice, it's still very indie looking to me. And I want to see these guys. I'm actually saying it in the way, like, I hope that they prove me wrong. But I just don't see any of those three teams being main event tag teams.
So the AEW tag division, while you've got arguably the best tag team on the planet in FTR, and as much as, you know, you're not a big fan of them, I happen to like them a little bit more than you, but I understand. They're also one of the better tag teams on the planet. You've got the Young Bucks.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah,
they are there. They're star power.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and truthfully, you don't get a bad match out of them. It might not be your style of match, but you don't get a bad match out of them. And okay, fine. You don't want the title on either one of your two big names. Cool. I get that. That's fine. And I'm okay. And this is where this is me giving AEW a chance again right now, specifically with the tag teams here. I said it earlier about Kaylani Jordan and throwing a bunch. This is the time to throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks. Same thing now with all these guys. It's okay if it doesn't make sense right now, because you can do all that and only you and I are going to key in on something and be like, what the hell are they doing? Not many people are going to. Everybody's going to be like, God, Moxley sucks. And that's going to be the whole thing that everybody focuses on, because Moxley does suck.
No, I mean, he's great.
Okay. Legion. If I had to let go of my blood feud with Takeshita to get Moxley to lose this title, I'd consider it.
That's saying something. I mean, Takeshita has 2 belts now. I'm just saying.
Takeshita is one of the goddamn best wrestlers on the planet, dude. This guy is incredible.
He's so damn good.
So good.
He's so good.
He's still gonna kick your ass.
I'm Jesus Christ.
It really.
You almost made me lose what I was gonna say here. All right.
I'm trying to have us end on a positive note, man. But yeah, I think right now for the tag teams, honestly, throw a bunch of shit at the wall. See what sticks. Even if it's private party, if they wanna do a gear change, if they want to change a finisher, change a song. If you want to hot potato the tag titles, I don't care right now. You have enough other crap around you that you could dial this in while that's going on.
I'm going to throw this out there, and this is, again, purely fictional because it could never happen now. But the team that they should have gotten the tag team titles on at this point, because they would have been the biggest stars outside of FTR and the Bucks, and like the most pure tag team, most realist tag team that they had, and unfortunately they kind of, ruined that relationship, would have been the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah.
Because you could have built, and you could have done stuff with Private Party and the Lucha Brothers on this. Like, this would have been great. Like, Private Party wins against the Bucks, and you get that emotional moment. And then, like, the next pay-per-view, the Lucha Brothers, who are obviously the more experienced tag team, win them from them. And then you can have this storyline of Private Party trying to get it back from the Lucha Brothers, who are a much more established tag team. And like, you would have gotten them, or the Lucha Brothers don't win it from them, but you get a program with them and the Lucha Brothers, and you would have gotten a lot more out of this.
Yeah.
I think that's my main issue is, I'm going to ask you this, man. Like, I don't disagree with you about throwing stuff against the, seeing what sticks. Outside of FTR and the Bucks, name me another all-star tag team that they have. Not a potential, an actual active all-star tag team that they have going right now.
Well, I can name you one that used to be. and immediately slots into the conversation. That's just Strong and O'Reilly.
I like that one. I was thinking about that too. But again, like we would need to actually have to do that. And O'Reilly would have to fully leave the conglomeration.
Yeah, no, and that's totally fine. It's, well, I don't know, man. I mean, truthfully, right now, if they wanted to do something with the tag team titles, you could kind of do some almost like Fraxium, like begrudging. People ended up together, and now all of a sudden we're talking at the end of 2025, dude. That might have been the best tag team run of the year.
Yeah,
But you know,
I mean, I think that would be a good one too. I mean, obviously the House of Black, but that's really sad that we couldn't come up with the House of Black just because of how they've been booked.
yeah. When I would love to see Malachi and Brody with those damn tag team titles, the Kings of the Black Throne.
Yes, it is one of those things I would like in the world. But so here's the thing, Legion. That's kind of all we're covering on AEW because, as I said, because most of their star power was in Japan for the later half of the week because of Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty. This was a lighter collision. We will be releasing a review episode for New Japan Wrestle Kingdom and New Japan Wrestle Dynasty. It may be the same episode. It may not be. We're throwing it up in the air right now. It depends how saucy we get with it. With that said, we will have that out later on this week. It is great to be back with y'all. Hound, I hate you, but it's great to be back with you as well. As always, you want to leave the Legion with a little something?
Absolutely. Legion, again, Happy New Year. And thank you once again for giving us your single most precious resource, your time. Again, I pray that 2025 is the start of all things spectacular for you, and God bless.
And as always, guys, remember, tuck your chin when you bump.